What if I told you that some of the most intense relationships in your life are with people who don't even know you exist? Sounds crazy, right? But in a world consumed by media, it's more common than you think. This isn't a new problem. It's just gotten bigger, and it could be affecting your life more than you realize. Let's talk about parasocial relationships. These are one-sided connections people form with public figures, celebrities, influencers, even fictional characters. You feel close to them. You know their favorite foods, their life struggles, their dreams. But here's the truth. They don't know anything about you, yet these bonds can feel as real as any friendship or relationship you have in the real world. The term parasocial was coined back in 1956, but with social media, it's exploded into something massive. You scroll through Instagram, watch YouTube, binge Netflix. Before you know it, you're emotionally invested. Have you ever spent hours watching content from someone you admire as if you're part of their life? Well, you're not alone, but why does this happen? Ever notice how binge-watching a series makes you feel like you've earned a PhD in the characters' lives? You even start thinking, I could definitely be friends with this person. Yeah, no, let's hold on to reality for a second. At its core, parasocial devotion taps into something deeply human, our need for connection and belonging. Psychologists point to theories like social identity, where we derive our sense of self from the groups we associate with. Fandoms, communities around influencers, sports teams, music artists, they give us identity. They make us feel like we belong. But this sense of belonging can lead to something darker when the attachment becomes too strong. We start feeling entitled, as though we deserve something in return from these public figures. This can lead to behavior that goes beyond admiration, sometimes into obsession, even harassment. But let me ask you, do we really know these people, or are we just chasing an illusion? And here's where it gets really tricky. What happens when the person we admire shatters that illusion? This leads us to the darker side of parasocial relationships. When the image we've created in our mind doesn't align with reality, it can cause serious problems. Take idol culture in Japan, where fans are known for their overwhelming devotion. When an idol steps outside the mold, maybe they start dating or change their career path, fans can feel betrayed. They're no longer the person fans idealized, and things can spiral out of control. It's not just in Japan. We've seen real-life cases of stalking, harassment, even violence. Celebrities, YouTubers, public figures, they've all become targets when they don't meet the unrealistic expectations of their fans. But it's not always that extreme, right? For most people, parasocial devotion doesn't turn dangerous, but it still has its downsides. So why do we cling to these one-sided relationships in the first place? It all comes down to one thing: emotional fulfillment. Parasocial relationships serve as a form of escapism. Whether we're feeling lonely, isolated, or going through something tough, these one-sided bonds can provide a false sense of comfort. It's like they're always there for us, always on screen, always talking. But that's the trap, isn't it? We get the emotional hit without the vulnerability of a real relationship. It might feel easier, but it's not healthy in the long run. These relationships can become a crutch, making it harder to invest in real connections with people around us. Now, think about this. When was the last time you went out of your way to deepen a real friendship instead of scrolling through someone's feed? Funny how we avoid what's real and chase after what's not. But what if I told you there's a way out of this cycle, a way to shift your devotion into something that builds instead of breaks you down? The key is awareness. First, recognize when you're falling into a parasocial trap. It's fine to enjoy content, but don't let it replace real relationships. Next, diversify your interests. Don't get stuck obsessing over one person or community. Explore new hobbies, build new friendships, ones that actually reciprocate. Finally, work on emotional regulation. Ask yourself why you feel so drawn to these one-sided connections. Are you seeking validation, comfort, or distraction? Once you understand the why, it's easier to break free. And here's the thing. Breaking free from a parasocial relationship isn't just about cutting ties with an influencer or celebrity. It's about taking control of your life, deciding what's real and what's worth your devotion. You don't have to let one-sided devotion control you. You can turn your focus inward and reclaim your time, your energy, your life. And if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to make a change in your life, check out my video on how to change your life in 12 weeks instead of 12 months, because the best relationships you can build are the ones with yourself.